Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming, playing Age of Wonders Planetfall. So, before I continue this video, actually something kind of funny happened. I actually made a video just earlier this morning, and the sound didn't come out, which actually was slightly irritating, but actually when I thought about it, it actually worked quite well because it was a video where I'd already played on a few turns, and then I played on, because I'd already played on a few turns, I thought I'd better start making the actual live video. And nothing particularly happened. I can tell you what did happen, but you didn't miss anything in the video that you won't get to see because there's no sound, if that makes sense. So, we're now on turn 110, so I think we're 10 turns on from where I ended the last video that you saw. We're still in the same situation. So basically, and I'll tell you the things that happened or didn't happen, the AI player that we're at war with was sending an army across here, and very quickly they got halfway and then went back again and just disappeared into the fog of war, which is like, okay. Then they had quite a big army built up here, which then gradually kept going back that way, and you don't know where they're going because again you can't see through the fog of war, so we don't know whether they're just having a massive troops here or whether they're fighting something, marauders or NPCs or another, we don't know. So that didn't really come to anything. So the war didn't really progress. There's been no more war battles. In fact, there was no more battles of any type. And our land is free from violence. I saw that this colony had a red face, and if you've watched any of my previous videos about anything, you'll know that colony management things, as far as the colonists are concerned, aren't really my thing. I kind of want to do the tech and the research and get the army things, but the food and all these kind of things aren't really interesting to me unless they become urgent because the colony are dying or they're going to rebel. I can't work out from this why they're unhappy. Maybe they just don't like the fact there's a war. That would be the kind of way it would work in Total War or something, where people are unhappy because there's a war or ongoing wars, but I don't know why they are unhappy, but it's just tough. I've tried to do a society research that I think will enable us to build some society improving structures in our colonies, so maybe that will help. What else happened? Paragon and the Spacers, NPC factions, both demanded sectors, which I refused, so our relations with them have gone down a bit, but they always end up, they ask for cosmite and energy early on, a lot, but then when the game progresses they always ask for sectors at some point, and just because they ask for one you give it doesn't mean they won't ask for another one. So I would recommend you never give them a sector, because it won't mean that they won't want another one and you'll just end up giving away your empire for nothing, so you just have to say no. The other thing we did, which is relevant, is I decided to start building our Doomsday weapon, and based on the fact that we can, because of the way the game's panned out and because it's not something I've ever done in a video before, it would be worth showing, and because of the fact that we're at war, it's worth doing. I know from previous experience that when I built Doomsday weapons early, before I was at war with anybody, it made other factions dislike me and declare war, probably sooner than they would have done because I'm building a Doomsday weapon. So maybe building that will prevent that faction wanting to continue the war, I don't know, but we're doing it anyway, so that's what we're doing there. These, I'll just show you from another sector, these Doomsday weapons, you can, we can't do it there, you can build them anywhere. You need energy, obviously. It says, and we haven't got enough energy, so we can't, but theoretically you can build one in each colony, and what that means is you can build one in each sector, of each colony. So you can pick a sector to build it in. There you can see we can build it there or there or there in Cargo Crest, Chunky, Wilderness or Emerald Mountain, but we can only build one in that whole colony's, all their sectors combined. And the only reason I can see for which sector you pick, because it takes the same amount of time in each one, is the location of the sectors. Basically, it's common sense. If you've got a sector that's right on the edge of a war zone, you might not want to build your doomsday weapon there because the enemy will attack it. And if it's in the middle of your sectors, you might think that's a better place to build one. So that's the only reason I can see why you'd pick a different sector. But you can build them in different places, and the more you have of these doomsday weapons, the stronger it is. So basically, we are making one in one sector at the moment, but it won't be as powerful as if we made one in each of our colonies. And obviously if you've got 10 colonies, you can make a huge amount of these. It's not a be all and end all for the war. I've had these before, and they're not a guaranteed win. They may have one as well, they may be building one as well. Also, to bear in mind that when you use anything in this, whether it's an operation or just a random operation to attack or deal some kind of negativity to one of the AI players' colonies, or if it's a doomsday weapon, they have to be not in the fog of war. And that's very exact as far as I've seen in this game. So for example, if that colony, if one part of that is deemed by the game to be in fog of war, it won't let you attack it or do anything to it. And that one is obviously half in the fog of war, so we wouldn't be able to do anything to that one. So then you'd have to send a unit there to reveal that. So that's a little bit irritating. I think when I first played this, I thought I'd make Doomsday Weapon and I would just pick one of their colonies that was, for example, that one, long way away. I probably saw one further back even, and I just thought, okay, I'll just drop a bomb on it or whatever it was, but I couldn't. So bear that in mind as well. Anyway, so here we are on turn 110. 10 turns on from the last video I made, and unlike what I expected, where I thought I would be ending the video series there because I was going to get wiped out, the game's continuing kind of without incident, really, without major incident. And I think that's one of the things about this game that's, I think it's not good or bad, it's just an observation. With most games, turn-based games, again, I'll always come back to Stellaris and Total War because they're the two I've played a huge amount that are similar in ways to this. When you signed out of a playthrough and you went back in to start again, I mean the same playthrough, so you went back in to continue your game, you usually knew straight away whether you were struggling because you was at war, or whether you were planning to declare war, or what that moment, that hour, that 2 hours, that afternoon was going to be in the game. But in this, you really have no clue. As you saw when they declared war on us, we were just going along minding our own business, and suddenly they declared war. You don't know if you are at war, whether it's actually going to be a war, because we were at war, and the war's kind of dissipated into nothing. I wouldn't even say it's a standoff because they've got bigger armies than us, but they've just actually retreated all their armies into the fog of war. Maybe that's part of their plan, I don't know. And they can suddenly attack again at any moment. Again, part of the reason you have that thing where you don't really know what's going to happen is because you can't see into the fog of war and you don't know what they're doing. So it's much more unpredictable than a game where, like Total or Stellaris, where you can kind of think this is what's going to happen. It can be a bad thing. You can be at war with another enemy or multiple enemies, and you know you're in a bad situation, or it can be you've decided to attack. But in this, it's very, very unpredictable, and I'm not sure whether the AI is just a bit stupid because they could have overrun us with the amount of armies they had, or whether they're quite smart because you hadn't played this before. And I think the first time I played this, I actually when they retreated after not continuing their attack, I followed them with my army like you would in a Total War game, and found that somewhere like there in the Fog of War they had a massive army and I just got wiped out. So maybe they're being very smart, because of course the AI doesn't know from game to game that you've played before and you remember. So here we are with the continuing strangeness of a kind of mid-game again. We've gone back to kind of a mid-game situation. So they demand energy. We're not going to give them that because we don't really need Cosmite at all. We've got loads of that. So, and I don't really want to be nice to her because she's a backstabber. Is the nicest thing I could think of to say about her. So, we're doing the Doomsday weapon there's not far off. We haven't got much energy, so if we wanted to, we wouldn't be able to make another one. We finished our last tier 6 military research, so we can do another one. And I think we'll go for the one that makes units. Like I said, if I have the choice when I first go into a new tier level, unless it's some amazing tech that I really want, I'll always go for the thing that makes a new unit. And another thing about this game is, and it's good, there's a huge amount of different texts, art, phase, energy, pulse, poison, all these different things. Loads and loads of it, which is all very good. But it's very hard, at least for me, to remember which ones are good. There's so many on each tier, and it's very hard to kind of remember which one is the one that's good. And then you've got to match that to which leader's going to use it and which unit's going to use it. And I find it's almost impossible to remember which one would be good. But even if I remembered, you not only got to remember which tech you're creating that might be good, you've also got to remember which units you've got that will use it, which leaders you've got to have the right weapons or the right things to use it. So and so they won't all have the same. So it's complicated like that. I think in a game like, and I was playing Cyberpunk last night, and in a game like Cyberpunk, when you're playing as one person, as V, if you ever played that, and you're using the tech, and there's loads of techs in that game. There's smart guns and tech guns and power guns and all manner of different types of guns, shotguns and rifles and sniper rifles and pistols and everything you can think of, and loads of grenades and mods. I find it very, very easy to remember which ones are good, down to individual guns of different types, and which mods are good, because you're using them as one person yourself, whereas in this you're thinking, what does your whole army want, each different unit, each different leader, and they all want different things. So anyway, that's just a fault. That's not bad, it's just a fault. Again, now we're back to that rock and a hard place, where we'd kind of like to continue with our mid-game options, where we were going to attack this cauliflower, cabbage, whatever it is, hotel. But the minute we send a unit over there that's really good, and that's not this one, we will end up being attacked by them, I'm sure. So again, it's a bit difficult when you're not really building anything there, and we might as well do this because we're not doing anything else, and there's no point in leaving a thing with nothing going on. But that's about all we can do. And back to what I said in the last few videos, I'm probably a cautious player by nature, I think, especially in turn-based games. But in this game, it's much more difficult not to be cautious because of the fact you can't see into their empires, into their lands, and you can't send a spy to check. What I did do also in the last little bit of off-turn playthrough is I made a unit, which is this unit here. Where are you? Yeah, which is a flying unit, and basically that's the only way you'll be able to get any kind of insight into what they're doing. It's not good, because it's an army unit, and unlike a spy or an assassin or a diplomat, which you get in things like Total War, where they can move freely through the enemy territory unless they're performing an action and get caught, or they're intercepted by another enemy agent, the minute your army, all you can send in these army units into another enemy territory, they'll attack and they'll be killed. So it doesn't last long, but we might get to, if we can get to sort of like here, we might get to see what's kind of going on around here. It's not the best plan, but it's the only plan. So we'll just continue on with what we can do until we until we get to our next point where something actually happens, and it's very hard to initiate something happening as well. We might as well do that. But yeah, as you can see, we're kind of not stuck is the wrong term, but it's very hard to know. Might as well put that in a base. We got that unit from doing, it's a Paragon unit, we got it free for doing one of their research quests. Celia Vardu, the backstabbing person, controls 50% of sectors required for victory. That might sound scary, but bearing in mind how many sectors there are, 50% is not as many as it might sound. I wouldn't worry. Like I said, these always want sectors later in the game, but giving them a sector won't stop them wanting another sector, so I would never advise that, because you're just end up giving away your empire for nothing. And the other NPC faction, I think there's always at least 2, they'll also want sectors, so you can't do that unless there's a desperation reason to do it. Or maybe if a sector's one of these at sea sectors where there's actually literally nothing there. But like I said, I wouldn't advise it. Okay, so we continue on. But yeah, it is very strange the way this game pans out. Like I said, we've got to this point where we were at war, they attacked, they had overwhelming numbers even despite the fact we won a victory, and they've literally just moved all of their units, I'm assuming purposely, out of sight into the fog of war, and I suppose that's why they use the fog of war, but it means you're really hand-tied to what you can do. So we're not good on energy at all at the moment. So at the moment we're not going to rush to. We're not going to rush to start anything with anybody. So you can see there, Ebra warned you that we've started development of a apocalyptic weapon, so everyone's going to start that now. There's nothing else we can really do here. We might start building another apocalyptic weapon, because they multiply by how many you've got, so if we've got more than one in a different colony, that'll make it stronger. So we're just going to do the only thing we can really do, which is we're going to try and send this army unit. Like I said, the minute they enter the enemy empire, they'll no doubt get attacked and killed. So we're going to try and send them around the side to just have a little look and see how it goes. It may not help. They want a sector. See, like I said, they want sectors all the time now. And they are very irritating, these NPC factions, because you kind of, they don't give you anything back. I mean, yes, when you do a quest for them, they give you some food, or you might get a weapon, or you might get a unit, research, but in the context of them demanding sectors, they don't actually do anything for you. And in the context that we're an empire and they're a small faction, yeah, okay, they can attack us and they can cause us a lot of issues, but you know, theoretically, you know, what are they thinking? So they're irritating. They're like little bugs, because you know we can easily wipe out. For example, there's one of their armies. We could easily wipe that out. Yes, they've got more than one army, and they've got armies all over the place. There's one there, there's one over there, there's one all over the place, there's one up there, there's one down here. So yes, they can cause us a lot of irritation, but none of their armies are going to be there. So it's annoying that they just keep demanding stuff and they don't want to give anything back. You know, it would be nice, not nice, that's the wrong term. They could demand something and offer. I thought it was the first time I played this game actually. I thought when they demanded something, they might offer an alliance, or they might offer to help, or they might offer something, but they don't really offer anything beneficial. They just want stuff, which is very irritating. So let's see, we'll concentrate on that until it gets killed. So like I said, I'm very aware of not going into their territory, but we can get to the edge of it. So what we're going to probably do is, we've got one or two choices that they can't move again this turn anyway, but we could leave it there as a kind of mobile scanner if you want, to look into their territory and see what's going on, or we could actually, mobile scanner, let's think about that.
Operations primed and ready.
We could deploy a monitor here. That would be good, wouldn't it? Not in their territory, I don't think, but what about right there? Yeah, okay, that's good. So we deployed a monitor in the middle of their territory. It's not going to benefit us for long, because I'm sure they'll find it and destroy it, but it's shown us one thing, and for want of a better phrase, it's shown us a very strange thing again, which is, I don't know, it's just odd what the AI players do in this. So now we can see that around that colony, which is their frontline colony virtually, they haven't got a big army hanging around there. In fact, where they've been sending all that army that they had over here and there is somewhere off here. So I don't know, they have another colony here which we didn't know. But I mean, we'll have to make a decision at some point. Number one, for ourselves if we were playing this game, and number two, just for the fact that this video series can't go on forever. At some point we'll have to make a decision to attack them. If they don't do anything and we continue to see that that colony is just sitting there, we might have to attack it and take a risk, or possibly that one. We'll see, because you can't just be in limbo forever, or can you? Oh, so there we can do a specialist. We can also build a okay, we're going to build another dimensional amplifier, because as I said, the more you have the better. We've got energy now, we've got an excessive amount of cosmite, and we make our weapon stronger. And we didn't start it, but we're going to finish it. What that is, I can't remember. It's an energy sector. Okay, it's not doing anything. Yeah, but I think regardless of whether I was doing this for the video channel or whether I was playing myself, yeah, there's a limit to how long you can just sit around when you're at war with somebody and not do anything. And the one thing about this game, and all that's slightly a cheat, I know, but what you can do is it's manually saving often. It'll manually save virtually every other turn, or you can, auto saving every other turn, and you can manually save it whenever you want. So what I would suggest you do, I won't do it on the channel, because if I get beaten and I do something wrong, then that'll just be it. But I would suggest, if you're playing it and you spend, because it does take a very long time to get to this, you've seen it's taken 114 turns. So what I would suggest you do is save the game regularly, if you're going to do something that might end in disaster, save the game, which is maybe if you're going to use a doomsday weapon, you don't know how it's going to turn out. If you're going to send an army off into the enemy empire, save it, see what happens, and then if you don't like the result, go back to the previous save and don't do it again. That's what I would say. And that's what I would do. Like I said, I won't do it on this channel because we don't want it to last forever, and if I make a mistake, then that will just be part of the game. I think 115 turns is a very long time to then go and attack, find you'll get wiped out, and that's the end of your game. And it would be as simple as that. If we send the army we'd need to send, which would be quite big, across to attack one of their colonies. Bear in mind they've got an in-colony army as well, so for example here, they've got 3 armies around there, 4, one in there as well, and they've got their colony army. So you need to send most of our army there, and if we did, it will be a commitment to the death, because if we lost there, we would lose the game, we'd have no armies left, we wouldn't have time to make another one. So I think it's fair to not cheat, but to save and go back, because like I said, 115 turns to lose in one turn by making a mistake, which you have to, but you have to take a chance sometimes, I think is a bit unfair. So, okay. I have played this in my own empires where I've been doing quite well against AI players, but I've not done as well as I would have done in a game. Like I said, this game I don't seem to do as well in as I did with Total War and Stellaris, and I'm used to this kind of game, but for some reason the mechanics of this game or the way the AI plays doesn't resonate with me as easily. Ebra insulted me, that's not very well.
Experience perfect illusions free.
That's the thing I was building, hospitality centres, which was basically to boost my colonists' happiness. I think Quantum Project sounds cool. That's just the water, we don't care about that. Cosmite harvesting sounds good, but we don't need Cosmite at the moment, so we don't really. Scanner upgrade, faction information, yeah, we'll go with that one. That sounds good.
Incoming communication.
They insulted us. We're pathetic dirty rats that have crawled up from out of the rubble. That's not very nice, is it? I mean, that's unnecessary. I mean, not very diplomatic either, and unnecessary. So what we can take from that is, one, they don't have a great vocabulary, and 2, they're thinking about like starting a war, because obviously they wouldn't start saying things like that if they didn't want to get to a war state. And you can see the commander's opinion has changed by 100 into a negative, and obviously that's a reason. I'll just go back and into diplomacy and check. But yeah, they use these negative comments and things to lower their opinion, which means they can start a war. So they can probably start a war anyway, but they wouldn't be calling us names if they didn't want to start something. So that's another possible war, which is just wonderful. And the most annoying thing is the only person who we're not at a war state with is Celia, who's the one that backstabbed us, who we were in a defensive pact with, who then didn't help us out. So we can't ally with her and trust her to help us, because she can't be trusted to help us, basically. Okay, so here, oh, okay, that's good. This is what we wanted to do. We've got the virtual entertainment centre, which may appease our unhappy population. I don't know why they're unhappy. I'm sure everyone watching this will know exactly what that is, because everyone will probably be very aware of how the player management player management, the colony management is, and they'll look at that and go, oh yeah, it's because of this, but I don't know what's causing it. I can see that we're -4 in happiness, and it's minus upkeep. I don't know, does that mean we need to build more residential places? I don't know, I don't care. As long as they don't do anything and they can be as unhappy as they want. I've been unhappy before, so what? It's life. There we have, again, got the option to build that, or we can build a holistic military centre, which we might do. I'm thinking about that. I'm going to check over here. And they're not very happy either, those ones. They've got a little red face as well. That's 2 of them. We're going to need to build that. 3 of them. Okay, so obviously people are not happy. I don't know if they rebel actually in this game, but I'm going to assume that they're all going to get not happy. I'd like to build that. I'm going to leave that here because they're at least sort of happy here. And if we can negate the misery in other colonies, I'd like to build one holistic military centre in one place, but we'll see. Okay, maybe we'll just skip on a bit. So yes, the dilemma of Age of Wonders. And another thing which I mentioned, because I've mentioned this quite a few times, is I've still not seen any other noticeable benefits or deficits or anything from the Revelations DLC. So in early game we got those anomalous sites which we were able to research. I think we got 3 or 4, but I've not seen anything else at all. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of tech in this game, and there's a lot of units, and it may well be that there's a few tech things that have been added from that into the research trees. Maybe a new unit's been added, I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with this game, and like I said, there's different factions you can play, so I'm not familiar enough with it to know. But I've not seen anything else during this playthrough that's indicated what else you get from that. And like I said in the previous video, if it's not a DLC expansion or a DLC mission, if it's something that integrates into the game, then it should be obvious, as it would be if you with Stellaris, when you got new DLC, whatever it was, it integrated into the game and you could see its effects everywhere straight away. So to Revelations DLC is what I'll say. Unhappiness is growing. Yes, we're making a thing to make you happy. Stop complaining. Celia sent a message. I don't like her at all.
Incoming communication.
I think the most annoying thing that can happen in a game is that the person that you don't trust the most is the person you're in best terms with. What did she send a message about actually? Doesn't say. Oh, well, I don't know what message she sent. I don't care. I'm not interested in what she has to say because she's full of it, as they say. Okay, so let's just go back over here. Okay, I know what I'm going to do now. In operations, I'm going to reboot our... In operations, he said, I'm going to reboot that scanner thing that I use, monitor. And so I can use that again over here somewhere. I've got that spy unit, which isn't a spy unit, it's just a unit. So I'm aware that if I send it in there, it's certain death. Which we could do if we desperately need to know what's going on. So I'm holding back and just leaving it to watch the border at the moment. Yeah, I'll stick with what I said in one of the very early videos I've made about this game. For me, it's definitely a game that I would drop into every so often to play a bit, for a little bit, half an hour, probably the video length actually, just to update my play and progress. But because of how the game is, it's not a game I would sit down and generally play for hours and hours and hours and hours in a run. That's just me, but because the game has, you see, we're on turn 117, and in the whole of that, other than building up research and tech and that kind of thing, we've had fighting marauders. We've not really had.
Commander, one of our colonies is unhappy.
Yes, I know they're unhappy. We know that. We've seen that, and now you can see they all suddenly got 1 million units there. Okay, so number one thing we're going to do, we're going to end this video in a minute, is we're going to deploy that monitor, but this time we're going to deploy it in neutral territory. And yeah, like I said, they always absolutely only fight with numbers. They may not even send this number, or maybe they're just insecure, I don't know. But what the AI player will always do, regardless of which one you're playing, as far as I've seen with every playthrough I've done, is they will only attack when they have a huge amount of units. They may only send, as you saw with the first battle, if you watched the earlier video, they may just send 3 across, but they'll want this kind of setup. So like I said, maybe they're just insecure or something, because then they're just as likely to send the rest of them back into the fog and disappear again than actually do anything with them. So when you see that, it's impossible to know what that means. You don't know whether they're going to send all those units here, whether they're going to send them all here, whether they're going to send some in both directions, whether they'll send a few there and the rest of them will just sit there, or whether they'll just all run away again, which is part of the thing with the AI. In this, you just don't know what they're going to do and why they do it. And it's very hard to kind of know what they're going to do or why they do it. We need to build that entertainment thing there as well. That might all be a moot point. I'm going to end this video now because it looks like something might happen. We might want to use one of our operations on them if we can. Yeah, okay, we're going to end this video now because it's been a bit long, and you can see from what might happen, there's probably something that will make it long. I don't want to end it right in the middle of an attack. So I'll end this video now. As you can see, something may happen in a big way next time, or it may not. That's the mystery of Age of Wonders. That's why it's Wonders, because you wonder what's going to happen next. Anyway, until the next video, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming, and take care.